Bass live. I'm still around, believe it or not. Thought I would hadn't talked to you guys in a while, so thought I would do a little bit of bass talking tonight for a little while. What up, fishing the southeast? Yeah, elude lizard. Where is that lizard? Yeah. I'm not really going to talk much about this bait tonight. It's cool though. I ought to start fishing it. That's what I need to do. I know it's a fish catcher. How you been fishing the southeast? Making some baits? Making some videos? Let me zoom in here a little. Wild Gill 3030. What up, man? Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to go, but I'm going to go through talk about a few things just for fun. Maybe catch you guys up on some things. This was Grandpa Woody. How's it going, man? Oh, there's my partner in crime, Steve Chapman. Get your fish on. How's it going, man? He went to ICAST for one day. Told me a little bit about it. Sounded good. Yeah, that's a hat. Sims. Right on. Critical Gravy. What up, Chris? Michael? How you guys doing? How's everybody's week been? I tell you what, we've had some brutal heat. It's been crazy, but today was really nice. It was really nice. I should have been out fishing. In fact, my buddy Joe tried to get me to go, but I had to work and could not get away. I could have gone now, but that didn't leave a ton of time. Julie's on her break. Well, great. How you doing? Yeah, I'd like to go to ICAST, Chris. I want to check that out. I almost made it last year, but then I'm glad I didn't because so many people caught COVID last year. I probably would have gotten it myself. But what should my first Baitcaster be? Listen, that has everything to do with how much money you want to spend, because the sky is the limit. Oh wait, man! Steve said they got a bunch of COVID spreaders this year too. COVID's picked up here in the last few weeks. I've noticed we've had several people at work come down with it, and for several months we didn't hear anything. It was crickets. First Baitcaster. What do you guys think? I mean, Baitcasters, there's so many out there to choose from. Julie says the smash reel is junk. Yeah, I know nothing about the smash reel, which might tell you something. If I don't know anything about it, you might want to stay away from it. All right, he's saying $200 max. Well, there's some really, really decent reels for $200. I'd probably go check out a Lose reel if you're going to spend under 200. Although Critical Gravy's mentioned that SLX, which is a Shimano reel, and that's a really good reel for the money. And you're not going to spend anywhere near 200 for that. Yeah, Julie's got a good combo there. That BPS rod and a Lose LFS. That's a good reel. Some of those Bass Pro Shops reels are pretty darn decent. I don't use those anymore, but years ago I used to throw a lot of Bass Pro reels as well. So yeah, that's a good question. I I probably would steer away from Lee's reels if I were you, Jack. I would go check out that Shimano or the Lew's. Much better options, I'd say. Yeah, well, Mike's got a theory here too. I'm guessing he's talking about a Walmart-made Baitcaster. Ozark Trail is Walmart's brand, and that's probably unless you're serious about fishing and you know you're going to fish a lot. I think one of the points he's making here is Baitcasters are a pain in the arse, at least until you figure out how to use them. So just make sure you want to go down that road. Now, my buddy Dean probably had the best idea. What he did, if I remember right, is went to garage sales and found a couple of older, decent bait casters and experimented with those until he actually got to where he could throw one. And he hated those things. He kept going back to a spinning reel, but eventually he kept at it to the point where, now he throws a lot of bait casters. What up, Mike? Stone Man Lures in the house. How's it going? And then Matthew, South Jersey Fisherman, saying try the Abu Revo. Abu makes some great reels. That's Abu Garcia, the Revo 4SX. I used to throw my favorite Abu reel was the Premier. I had a bunch of those at one time, but I pretty much am down to just Shimano's and Daiwas now. It's about all I throw anymore. Julie, I agree with you. You don't buy an Ozark Trail lure if you're serious about fishing, but it might not be bad to start with a crappy reel. I don't know. Yeah, that's another good point, Pablo. Carl's membership, I think, is a great deal. If you're one that would spend a lot of money over a year's time at Carl's, and you get that membership, and they've definitely got some Guggen reels and other things, I'd say that you can get some good deals on for sure. What's everybody been doing? Mr. Bass, I'm definitely picking up one of those new Abu Revo SXs. Yeah. The Abus are good. I like them. In fact, I still do have one. I've got the red one. What's that called? It's the high speed jobber. It's a very good reel. 9.1 to 1 gear ratio. That sucker's a screamer. What do they call that thing? The red one. Can't even think of it at the moment. The Rocket. Yeah, that's it. The Rocket is a great reel. In fact, I've got a couple of them, I believe. You're right, Michael. The problem with buying a cheap bait caster is it can make you hate bait casters because you get backlashes so frequently. But you're going to get backlashes with every bait caster on the planet. Never believe the hype that there's a bait caster out there that will not get a backlash, because it's inevitable. It happened to me last night. I mean, it's just, you can't get around it. But there are reels, the better quality reels, you're going to have much less of a problem there, because there's so many more ways to adjust your reel so that you don't backlash. Also, if you're brand new to bait casters, If it's a super windy day, just put it away. Put it away. Take out your spinning reel. Fish with your spinning reel until you get good at bait casters. If it's windy, don't torture yourself. It's not worth it. Yeah, bottom line passing. You're right. They'll all get you eventually. I got quite a few baits I was going to show you guys tonight, some of which you may or may not have seen. How about this one? Anybody seen this one? I may have shown this when I was on your podcast, Matthew. I don't know if I've shown you this or not, but this is a new Mike Buka bait. It's mainly they're targeting the saltwater guys with this. As you can see, it's a little bigger. It's 5.5 inches. But to me, I was like, dude, I got to have that. That you're telling me that won't catch bass? It absolutely will. There's my buddy Joe. He and I went fishing last night. Practice makes perfect on those bait casters for sure. All right, this is another one of these. How about that? I think they've released these now. I got these early because, you know, guys know I got a relationship with Catchco. So I got these early, but I haven't fished this. I need to go try this out. This is a nice color. And, you know, it's got the typical Buka tail on it, this kind of fiber tail. It's a little softer, though, than a lot of the Buka swim baits. So this is called the, let's see, I'll tell you what this color is in case you want to know. This is herring. That is herring. Yeah, good point. Matthew pointed out that these hook hangers rotate 360 degrees. And these are cheap baits, as in not cheaply made, but they really do not cost a lot of money. I can't tell you the price right off the top of my head, but it's amazing how good these are priced. This color here is called Mullet. Cooler lid. What rod and reel would I throw this on? You could throw it on any medium heavy or heavy rod. You want a little softer tip on it, but you do not need a big swim bait rod for the bull mullet. Definitely don't. Let me take this one out. This one's got a little purple or hue to it. See? You can really kind of see it around the eyes and the head. But you do not need a special rod for this because it's only 5.5 inches long and it only weighs 1.5 ounces. Slow sinking, number 3 hooks on it. So 1.5 ounce bait, any of your rods, just you can look on the rod and it'll show you what the heaviest weight it can handle. So your frog rod, your A-rig rod, your flipping and pitching rod, although the flipping and pitching rods don't have, they're so stiff, trying to cast this might be a problem. But just a little heavier rod or a heavy, medium heavy rod will get you that. $19.99 is what these cost. I mean, am I right, Matthew? $20 for this thing. That's a freaking great price. Great price. So I don't know if you can get these on Carl's yet or not. The reason I say that is They had a release date. They sent these to me. Then I got a message that said, hold off. We're not releasing them yet. And I think they're released now, but I haven't verified it. But again, that's called the bull mullet. If you want a little bigger swim bait for a great price, not a bad choice at all. So that's one I was going to show you guys. How many of you guys, or let me ask you this question. When you're out fishing, whether bank fishing or on a kayak or on a boat, what do you do, or do you do anything to protect your cell phone? The reason I ask this is when I went to the tournament up in Wisconsin a few weeks ago, my phone got knocked in the lake. And I've never worried a whole lot about that because normally I either have the phone in my pocket. I've only lost my phone twice over the years. And one time it was actually in my jacket pocket. And I was fishing, and it had been in the jacket pocket all day, and it was no big deal. And all of a sudden, I hear this thunk, and I look down, and I see my phone bouncing on the edge of the kayak and then into the water. It just fell right out of my pocket. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then the other day when it fell out, I actually had it sitting on the side of my kayak under a bungee. And I was reaching back to get my cooler, and I brought my cooler around, and it just happened to hit the phone perfectly. Blink. In the drink it went. Cooler Lid 120 says he uses a Rogue tether. Yeah, I've never used the tethers. And the reason I don't use the tethers is because they only stretch so far. And a lot of times I like to have my phone much further out for taking pictures. Yeah, Ziploc bag is probably a really smart thing too if you're worried about rain. I'm not worried about rain a whole lot because if it really starts raining, I just put the thing away. But after I knocked it into the water, I went and got one of these things that you wear around your neck like this. It wasn't this brand though. And literally, I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. They all look the same. They all kind of have like a couple of plastic keepers in here that you put together. You drop it in. And so cheap. Within one day, it had broken apart completely. And the lanyard came out of it. And luckily, it didn't. It fell on the floor. But I mean, total junk. So that's when I ordered this thing here. This is from Stash Water Pocket. And I can wear this around my neck, you know. And then I guess if I need to take a selfie, I can just take it out of the case. Although they say you can work the phone in this and then take your pictures on the back. But this thing is super sturdy. There's no cheap plastic components at all. And then it has like a double, it's got like a Ziploc thing here, super strong one. And then it's got this Velcro that you fold over. So that thing's not coming out. It's basically a sophisticated Ziploc bag, right, Mike? But, you know, phones are not cheap. That was tough. Especially on the road, out of town. Losing your phone out of town is way worse. Way worse. For sure. All right, I want to show you a bait that Grandpa Woody sent me. Have any of you guys tried this? He says he's killing them on this. The Duratech Toad. Duratech is like Elastech. It's supposed to be the super durable stuff, and we can get Grandpa Woody on here to tell us. Tim nearly killed his phone in April. It was in my guideware jacket, but it got soaked and shut off. Man, that sucks. Well, this would keep your phone completely dry. I guarantee it. Anyway, Grandpa Woody has been crushing them on this. He sent me photos and sent me updates, and then he actually sent me a package because I went to all the tackle stores and couldn't find them. This comes in a 3-pack, and it also comes with a hook in the package. Let me show you what it looks like out of the package. You get 3 of these. It's kind of a, squishy. It's Elastech, right? So they call it Duratech. So I assume it's very durable. And here's the hook that it comes with. It's got this little ball on there that keep it from sliding off. And I don't know. I mean, it's a fat, chunky piece of meat that they've got to get their mouth around. But you can see that when they bite down, that hook comes out quite a bit. He's got me really interested in this because he's been having so much luck on it. So I'm going to throw this tomorrow if I can get out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But if I can, this might be something I try throwing. Very similar to the Kitech Noisy Flapper. Yeah, the Noisy Flapper is a good frog too. But the Noisy Flapper is not, it's not Duratech, it's not Elastech, right? It's just plain old plastic. So it probably tears up quicker. Yeah, I didn't, Joe. It wouldn't have mattered. I talked to Dave today. He said they didn't catch any yesterday either. Said it was really rough. 14 pounds won it. 4 fish for 14 pounds is what won it. Anyway, I think it looks decent. And, you can never go wrong with Grandpa Woody's endorsement. He may not be on now because he's not saying anything, but he's the one that got me onto the poop baits, and I'm glad he did because I've caught a ton of fish on those. So I got to try the Savage Gear Duratech Toad. I thought I'd show you a few other toads, flapping toads that I use. I'd be interested to know what kind of ones you guys like to throw. Oh, yeah. Booster's into that those air show things. I saw him post that on his Facebook. Let me show you a couple of them that some of you guys know these. You've seen these. You guys all know about the ribbit frog. The ribbit frog is definitely a good frog. It catches them. You can see kind of the difference. This time of year, summertime, is when these kind of frog baits really shine. So there's the Duratoad. Obviously, it's got a lot more features than the plain old ribbit frog, but dude, the ribbit frog is a killer. The Stanley toads are good too, for sure. No doubt. All right, so you got the ribbit frog. They come in a couple of different sizes. I've got 1 or 2 frogs in here you've probably never tried before. Maybe I can get you to try them. How many of you have tried this one? The man's hard nose. What the heck is that? Most of you have never seen this before, right? I've shown it before on the show. That may have been the only place you've seen it. These toads are, as you can see, they got longer, softer, skinnier, flappy legs. And they're covered in salt, and these suckers are discontinued now. I don't think you can find these. I don't know where you can find them, to tell you the truth. Not many places. But the reason they call them hard nose is this piece of the bait, the nose here, is a much harder, stiffer plastic. So when you put your hook through, this is the part, obviously, that tears easily normally. And that kind of helps prevent that. This is a really good frog. If you can find these, it's a really good frog to fish like you would the savage toad or the ribbit, but you can fish it that way, fine. But it also works very nicely as a chatterbait trailer. And that's just a little secret out there. There are some secrets. The man's hard nose bait makes a very good chatterbait trailer. And it's 5 inches long. And you just use a single EWG style hook, just like the others. Let me see if I got any other colors for this Stanley hard-nosed toad, because this man's hard-nosed toad. These are definitely the kind of baits to throw this time of year. That's a nice color. That's one of my favorites. Green pumpkin chartreuse. Really good color. The problem with all the salt is it sprinkles all over my computer. But very nice color. Matthew, I picked up some of the Java shads. Oh, the Java shads. Right on. What other colors do I have? Do I have any others? No, just green pumpkin and green pumpkin chartreuse. All right, here's another one I'd be interested. How many of you guys have ever fished with the cane toad? Gambler Lures cane toad. This is another alternative to this. I never paid much attention to the specific bait. It's more due to the technique. Well, I agree and kind of don't agree. I think you are right, Jim, in that knowing how to fish a bait is way more important than the specific bait, right? Whether you use the Savage or use the Gambler Toad, they both do similar things in the water, and if you know how to fish it, you're going to catch fish with either or. I've always liked Gambler baits. The Big Easy is my favorite Gambler bait, but the Gambler Toad is a really nice bait. It's pretty durable. It's not, the Duratech or anything like that, but it is pretty darn durable. The problem with these kind of toads is the fish will bite your legs off. That's going to happen. And then they're pretty much worthless. But the Gambler toads, cane toads, are very reasonably priced. They're kind of they've been around a long time, and they work well. Now, one thing about this bait that I love, what do you think it is? There is something slightly different about this bait compared to some of the other toads. I bet some of you guys know or can guess what I'm going to say. What do you think I would say is pretty cool or unique about this specific toad? I'm giving you a few seconds to answer, and I'm not getting a lot of answers. We only got 30 people on tonight, so. Thinner. You're right, Jim. It's thinner. Why would that matter? It's a perfect skipping frog. You guys, if you skip a rock, what do you look for? Let's take the legs off. This sucker is perfectly shaped like a skipping stone, and this frog skips. Excellent. And I'm telling you, when you're throwing this kind of frog, where do you want to put it? You want to put it under the dock. You want to put it under the overhang. You want to skip it under those bushes or those tree limbs. This little guy, the gambler cane toad, skips incredibly well. Clements, that's a great idea. You could absolutely use this just like a beaver if you were in a pinch. Look at this color too. This is one of my absolute favorite colors. That is a beautiful color. I don't know if the fish like it, but man, I like it a bunch. That's called lane toad, that color. What up, mainstream fishing? Anyway, throwing toads is fun, but if you can skip them, man, it's a game changer. It's so much more fun when you can skip these little guys under those little spots, and you can skip most of them without any problem. Like I said, I'm new to this one, but to me, this looks like it would be a decent skipper as well. Yeah, the buzzbait skirt. That's not a bad idea either. Okay, so that's the cane toad. Don't overlook the cane toad. All right, here's one that you guys all know. I really don't even need to show you this one because everybody throws this one, the horny toad. But the horny toad is not my favorite. What's unique about the horny toad? What I think is unique about it is it has the speed craw, the ultravide speed craw, and the ultravide speed worm deals here. And when you're retrieving this back, it makes a much more subtle sound and movement in the water than these other frogs do. It's a much more subtle sound and movement in the water. But come on, we all know that the horny toad catches fish, man. I mean, you got to have a horny toad in your box. These things are freaking amazing. Hey, that's good to hear, dude. I am happy. I'm just waiting for them to call me on the phone and say, we're sending you a 6-cent sack every month because we love you. They haven't done it yet. One of the guys from 6 Cents did call me, though. And he asked me a few questions about some things. But that's as far as it went. But horny toad, another good one. All right, I'm going to maybe do one or two more here. Let's just do one more, and then I'll switch subjects. Let's make sure. How about this? Have I ever tried the Chase Baits Wiggle Bomb? Yeah. Well, I have not tried it. I have tried it and I have not tried it. Here's why I say I have not tried it. I put it in my boat to take it out to try the Wiggle Bomb. It looks great. And from what I've heard, it is great. The problem is I went out and sat it in my boat with some other baits, and a couple days later I came back and the little wiggle tail on it was completely melted off. No joke. Now, this is one of the problems with fishing plastics nowadays, right? You combine them with another plastic, they touch other plastic, and they start melting together. So I had a wiggle bomb in my hot little hand. I was gonna fish it, and I destroyed it before I got the chance to fish it. Yeah, Frank, no doubt about that. I am sure that that little wiggle bomb, wiggle thing tears really easy. So you're going to go through a bunch of those. That goes without saying. Okay, Grandpa Woody's back here. So what's he saying? It floats, 3D scan, tapered body, strong kicking action, stop and go without sinking, pause it, next to cover to trigger, bites. Give it a try. Great bait. Okay, from the man himself. And the one he's talking about is the one I showed you first that he sent me. It's the Savage Gear Duratech Toad. Duratech Toad. That's it. Okay, so Berkeley has this buzzing speed toad. Does this look somewhat familiar? I mean, these guys all copy each other, man, but come on. They have copied the horny toad almost 100%. I mean, let me show you. I put the horny toad away, but I got to break it back out because, come on, Berkeley. Don't you have any dignity? Check these out. Look at them. It's like they took the exact Zoom horny toad mold and just copied it. And the only thing they did different is on these little ends, they've got, I don't know if my hand's in the way. On these ends, they've got a couple of little ribbed edges, but there's nothing different at all. Now, maybe they say, well, the difference is we've got the power bait. So they're going to hold fish 18 times longer. But come on, guys. Talk about stealing another company's product. Bing, 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 bing. There it is. Oh, man. Is that crazy or what? Oh, Joe sent me a picture. Let's see what he sent. Oh, yeah. What kind of frog is that, Joe? I've also got some handmade ones I didn't bring over here that I could show you. And I talked about the that massive frog, the Wade frog. Boy, that thing is an amazing skipping frog as well. It's awesome. Berkeley makes a lot of good stuff. All right, I want to give you a little poll here. How many? Caro's in the house. What up, Carol? What do you guys think about max scent? Berkeley max scent. And I'm asking this for a specific reason. Have any of you guys used it? And if so, what's your opinion of it so far? You know, Berkeley's had the power bait forever. And now last year they came out with the max scent, which is supposed to be even way better than power bait. What's your opinion? Caro says she likes it. This is interesting. What makes no sense to me is how Berkeley, Japan is able to make complete new design lures, or at least not copy exactly the baits, but USA doesn't ever. Okay, several never used. Caught nothing on it using the general. Aha, booster. This is what I was hoping I'd see. Blah. Jim says don't buy it. Maine says 50-50. Doesn't make them bite the bait, but it makes them hold on longer. Okay, you might be right, Jason, but I'm going to tell you my own personal experience. I started using this a year ago at the St. Lawrence River. I got some Berkeley Max Scent flatworms, and I had the regular flatworms and I had the Max Scent flatworms, and I was fishing with a guy, and we were throwing the exact flatworm. He was throwing Max Scent. I was throwing the plain one. And he was out fishing me 10-1. I mean, it was crazy how much more fish he was catching on that Max Scent. So I switched to the Max Scent, and sure enough, drop shot fishing, the flatworm, I was catching a lot more fish on the Max Scent. So I was like true believer. So I get home and I buy some Max Scent chunks and some Max Scent generals and a few other Max Scent baits. And I'm not fishing for smallmouth. Where I live now, it's mostly largemouth. We have some spots, but it's mostly largemouth. And I'm telling you, there's not one difference. The largemouth do not care, at least for me. I've fished 3 different baits down here. I fished the Ned, I fished the General, and I fished the jig trailers. I may have fished another one too. Those are only 3 I can remember off the top of my head. And no difference. It has not caught me any more fish. In fact, I don't think the largemouth care about Max Scent at all. But they do like this stuff, power bait. I've had a lot of luck with the power bait scent. So I guess what I'm getting at is my recommendation, if you're going to fish for smallmouth, I probably would still stick with the Max Scent. But if you're fishing for largemouth, don't waste your money on the Max Scent. One thing you may have noticed with the Max Scent is, I don't know if it's because of the chemicals they use or whatever, the colors are all really weird. Like, go get a Max Scent baby bass color, a Max Scent general baby bass, and then the old Max Scent or the old general baby bass. The colors there's nothing, they're not even close. They are not even close. They don't come anywhere near each other. So what I've noticed is the Max Scent has like really dark, kind of like what I'd call a matte finish, matte colors. And they don't have like this. This is way too bright for Max Scent. Max Scent wouldn't work with this color, I don't think. Scented baits are overrated. I think sometimes they are, Frank, but sometimes a little bit of scent goes a long way. Jason's right. Max Scent dulls the bait color. Now, some people would say dulls better. Randy Blockett, he likes to dull his baits up and rub them up and try to make them to look more dull and less shiny. But I don't know. To me, I think Max Scent's overrated. I would not recommend it for largemouth bass. But I will tell you this. If I'm fishing that flatworm up up north for smallmouth, they're going to have Max Scent on them. They are. For sure. All right. Another thing I wanted to show you guys that I've been crushing them on. Let me go to this first, though. I want to get your opinion on this, too, because this is another power bait product. The Champ Craw. I've never fished with the Champ Craw. I bought these, I bet I bought them a year ago, and I still have not tried them. And I'm thinking somebody on here has got to have fished with the Champ Craw. What, if you have fished with it, what do you think of it? One thing about this Champ Craw that to me, I wonder about is it's really, really big and bulky compared to a lot of crawdad baits. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, very fat, bulky, chunky compared to a lot of craws, but I kind of like the look of it, and I like the feel of it, and I do like power bait, but I've not ever fished with it. And I was just wondering, have any of you guys fished the Jordan Lee Champ Craw? He designed it himself after winning 2 Bassmaster Classics. Joe says he flips them at Giacomo. Do the claws float? Anybody know? Joe, do the claws float? You know, a lot of these plastic baits don't float, but you throw them down and they go down to the bottom, and then they'll kind of sit there a second and then they'll fall. And then when you twitch them or jerk them, they'll pop back up, and the claws will float for a little bit and then they'll just sink back down. This is interesting. Booster says, the more lifelike, the less effective. This is a funny, interesting thing you say, Booster. But there is a lot of truth to this deal that you do not have, you do not have to have every little tentacle and every little perfect eyeball and every little lifelike appendage on a bait. Fish do not seem to care about that. I mean, think about the Cinco. It's literally a do-nothing pencil. It's a stick bait. There's nothing realistic about it at all. And it catches tons of fish. I agree, Joe. I like the Chigger Craw much better. Here's a little Chigger Craw, 3-inch, just to compare. Now, it's a Berkeley bait, too. And if you notice, speaking of do-nothing, Booster, the Chigger Craw, there is nothing. Look at the claws. They're just flat plastic. They don't have a pattern on them or anything. The body itself does have a couple of ribs, but this does not look like a real crawdad at all. This looks way more realistic, but this little Chigger Craw crushes them. The fish, this bait is a killer Chigger Craw. And just like Booster said, man, there's nothing special about the way that thing looks. But there's something about the way it moves in the water really attracts fish. Yeah, Jim throws a jigging pig a lot, man. Old school jigging pig. You cannot go wrong with that. And there's nothing sexy about that, is it? What up at Ventura Fishing in Miami? How you doing, man? Jason caught his PB on a Chigger Craw. I believe it. Chigger Craws are great by themselves. They're great flipping baits. They're great jig trailers. They're awesome. Okay, one other thing I want to, the Weston brand craw. Actually, I might have one of those in my mystery tackle box. I want to see if I do. I think I saw one of those in a mystery tackle box recently. What up, Alan? How you doing, man? No. Not close. Anywho, it looks like nobody has fished. Nobody has fished the Champ Craw to tell me. I know Jordan Lee's going to tell me it's amazing, but I'd like someone that really fishes with it to tell me whether this thing's any good. Joe's fished it. That's about it. Steve's throwing the Rat Benny. Man, I need a Rat Benny. How can I get my hands on one of those? Go buy one, you knucklehead. All right, this is funny. I don't know if somebody says Mike Dove evening. I'm going to wrap up tonight talking about Thunderhawk lures. My buddy Mike Dove over at Thunderhawk sent me some grunt jigs. And my fishing buddy Joe Enda, who is on here tonight, he and I went fishing the other day, and he was throwing a little finesse jig. And I asked him, Joe, have you ever tried a grunt jig? He said, no. What's a grunt jig? I said, this is a grunt, a hybrid finesse jig by Thunderhawk Fishing. This is called, this is 3/8 of an ounce. As far as I know, it only comes in one size. I gave him a few, and we went fishing, and we crushed them on this bait. The bass love the grunt. And I'm telling you, the grunt is where it's at if you like a lighter jig for fishing it. Let me show you the head on this thing. They've also got, Mike's got, I don't know how to say this. He has very, very unique colors. You are not going to find, Mike is not one, you know, we're talking about Berkeley copycatting Zoom. Mike Dove does not copycat baits or colors. Go look at the Thunderhawk lures. They're all unique. And his colors are super unique as well. Like, for example, this little guy is olive chartreuse gray. I mean, who puts those colors together? You just don't see this kind of color. Now notice the head. Of course, it's a little pointier than a typical Arky style head. You can flip it, you can pitch it, you can skip this. And the other thing I like about it is it works great around the grass. Okay, Mike says they just released the 5/8 ounce grunt. The lake that Joe and I were fishing these around the other day is full of grass. And this thing comes in and through and around grass better than about any jig I've ever thrown. It's an excellent grass jig. You don't have to just throw it in the grass, because I've been fishing it everywhere, and I've caught fish on rocks, gravel, open areas as well. But I'm super impressed with how easy it is to fish this up and through and around grass. I love it. I want to show you the color we were crushing it on, because even his green pumpkin is different. Man, I may not have, I think I got all the green pumpkins in my tackle box. Dang, I wanted to show you guys the green pumpkin, because that's the one that I was throwing it last night. The one I would say that's closest to what you might see in the real world is black and blue. And it's still, yeah, Mike comes up with his colors himself. Here's his black and blue. And see, it's even unique. The other thing I've liked about it, I really like this hook. I've shown you guys this before, but this is an exceptional hook. And my hookup ratio on this jig is great. It's fantastic. So I just want to let you know I have tried this, field tested. I don't know if Joe is on here now, but Joe could probably make comment on here too. He can testify these jigs catch them. One thing I'm wondering, Mike Dove, is there a chance you guys will ever just sell the jig heads? Because these colors, like I said, are super unique. But sometimes I want a little plainer Janer color. He's got this flashaboo in all the jigs, just a few strands of it. I really like that too. I'm a believer on these jigs, though. I really, really like them. That is the Grunt. Go check those out over at Thunderhawk Lures. The new walking topwater is called the Papa Walker. Nice. They've got a ton of different colors. They also have a trailer made for this called the Camel Craw Junior. I got those out in my tackle room. Here's kind of a more shaddy looking color, gray shad. Again, even his shad colors are unique. I would like to be able to buy the jig heads and put other skirts on it, but it's no big deal. I can swap some of these out. But here's his shad color. You know, you've got really kind of just a matted, darker color along with your white shad patterns, and then he's got a little bit of few strands of that flashaboo in there as well. I'm a big fan of the Grunt. I had biggest fish I caught on this, Joe. How big was that fish? It was somewhere between 6 and 7 pounds the other day. It was a giant on the green pumpkin Grunt. Yeah, the blue Craw is a really good color too. I think I've got all those in my tackle box as well. I don't have any of the blue Craw in front of me, but the blue Craw, I'd say that green pumpkin and that blue Craw are my two favorite colors. Alan, if your jig gets caught up in the grass too much, try this Grunt. It does really well up and over the grass. Now, you still got to know how to kind of work it through the grass and up and over and then drop it down in the holes and that kind of stuff. But it's excellent with that 3/8. The 5/8, when it comes out, it's probably going to be too heavy around the grass for me. But the 3/8 is perfect. I think it's definitely the right lure. Okay, I am going to wrap it up there. That's about all I got to cover tonight. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I just posted a fishing video today. If you want to go check it out, was slaying them out at one of my favorite fishing holes. Go check that out and hit the like button and share the videos. I would greatly appreciate that. Thanks for the Grunt jigs, Mike. Those are awesome. It is very compact, as Joe says. It's a great bait. I'm going to go fish with these this week, and I'll let you know how the Duratech Toad from Savage Gear, how that thing plays out. All right, that's it. I'm done. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next time. Happy fishing. Bye-bye.